Welcome to post-hurricane call number 143. Today is September 14th, 2017, and welcome one and all. We're all certainly glad to be here. We all survived the storm, and I personally got my power back last night and got my internet back an hour ago, and all of my partners are, except for Chad, I think, are in similar situations. Let's go around the horn real quick. Tim, anything you want to share with the group?
No, just fortunate that we're back, and sympathies to all the people in our state here who are still suffering. It's going to be a while before Florida recovers from this. Apparently, there's still hundreds of thousands of people without power and the kinds of things we take for granted. And, I'm just thankful for what we have at this point. It shows how much we rely on technology and all the other stuff. Great appreciation for the pioneers, But no, we're good. Just happy to be alive.
Amen. I'll echo that. Chad, I know you started another probate mastery course. Anything you want to share from a training perspective?
Yeah, we're doing mastery today, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And we just had some people jump in the class. So if you didn't get signed up and you want to, you still can, and I'll send you the recording from yesterday. But Session 2 is immediately following this call, and then Session 3 will be tomorrow. And that's all I really have. I don't have much this week for training. We're past our monthly role play call. We did that. So
all right, and
get
again,
to the call. Get to the phones.
Yep, those of you that have taken mastery before, you're an alumni. You can come back every month. Tom, anything you want to share with the group? I know normally Tom speaks to people as they sign up. I haven't been able to transfer people since the storm, so anybody who has signed up in the last week or so, Tom will be getting back to you in the next day or two for an introductory call. Tom, anything you want to share from a customer service perspective?
Not really. It's just the same thing Tim said, that we're fully up in business now, and if you need anything, just let us know at support@alltheleads.com.
And as always, be very specific about what you need help with, and the best person to contact you will get back to you immediately. And please, Brad France or Austin, if you're on the call, your story is too good for you not to share it personally. We'd love to hear from you. We do have one person in the queue. We've got room for many more, so please hit *6 and then hit 1 to participate. And there we go. We got a second person. Thank you. All right, let's go to and a third. Keep them coming. All right, first up today is phone number ending in 6713. You're up first. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm glad to hear that you're all safe over there in Florida.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Been praying for you. We have family over there as well, and fortunately everybody's doing good from what we hear, and so the property alive and safe, so that's what counts.
Amen. Yep.
So my question we just signed up today to be a part of your program, and I was just curious, is there a website that we should go to or to look for any handouts?
Yeah, if you thank you, by the way, and I was going to ask you if you had any success yet, but we'll give you like 3 or 4 days to, share your success story, but welcome. You should, as soon as we get you set up, I'm actually having to text the orders to our home office. So as soon as you get set up, which should be within an hour or two, you'll get a welcome to all the leads email, and then go to the website, sign in, and the first thing you should do is watch those fast-track videos. Chad did a remarkable job. There's 3 10 to 15-minute videos in about 45 minutes or less. You'll get a really good overview of the entire system, how it works. And part of that will be to look at the letters, determine which letters you want to use, and Tom is going to be calling you as soon as you get in the system. Tom is one of our partners, and he does a initial orientation call with you. So as soon as you're in the system, he'll be calling you this afternoon to schedule that call. But the most important thing you can do is watch those fast track videos. They really do an excellent job of of acclimating you and answering all your questions. And Chad, he makes you watch the video first, and then after the video, all the appropriate forms and scripts and everything you're going to need that applies to the topic will pop up. So by the end of the day, you should be raring to go.
Okay, and that will include information as far as one of my concerns was the fastest way to determine whether or not a decedent owns any real estate or not. Because I've been looking through the public notices in the newspaper before I even found your program, but it seems to be that's the biggest time consumer.
Yeah, and I'll let Chad touch on that. We're pretty big on not over scrubbing your leads, because often, you can check your county. They may own property in an adjoining county. Sometimes they'll own it in a corporate name. We've had numerous stories of agents when they looked in the county records, it didn't appear like anything was owned, but then when they contacted the executor, there were multiple properties that were owned. So, Chad, that is a good question. Chad, do you want to elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, we have just dozens upon dozens of stories where people have listed real estate that wasn't even part of the probate, that they held in a held in the entity, held in the trust. So the best way right now to figure out what they have and how you can help them is just make contact with them. We are working on a program called Probate Plus that will actually check every county in the United States. So we'll bring back any real estate that they own anywhere, along with a lot of relevant information with that. And we're almost ready with that. So in the future, it'll be kind of the click of a button. But right now, the best way is to, prospect the leads and figure out how you can help and what they have.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Chad.
Wonderful. Any other questions that we can help you with?
That's all for now. I'll wait. I'll look forward to my introductory contact, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, perfect. And Tim, did you have a comment on that or not?
No, I was just simply saying, the whole premise there is that all along our entire structure has been based on get your leads, send out letters, make phone calls, and follow up, and off you go. And that's just, as Chad said, proven to be very successful. And the beauty of that is that not only do you have the opportunity to talk about that, but it's just simply a great lead for everything else. And one of the things that you're going to learn as part of our training is that we're really, really big on leading with value and offering service to the people as well. And we've always pretty much approached this from a service mentality. And Chad's very big on, the value first proposition. And as you do that, we've had more and more people who things come out of it that have nothing to do with the probate, but it was a great intro, and it allows you just simply to build that credibility right off the bat. So focus on doing it that way, and we'll teach you how to do it.
Great. Thank you so much.
That's a great point, Tim. We've had a number of agents that have told us, they'll talk to an executor, find out there's no real estate, and then you realize you're talking to somebody who, on average, just inherited a couple $100,000. So you might ask that extra question, now that the estate is almost finished, do you have any plans on maybe upgrading the home you're in or buying some investment property? Sometimes don't ignore that as an opportunity, even if there's no real estate owned, because the person you're talking to might be the ideal move up buyer, or they might be in a position to invest in real estate. So just ask those extra questions, and that's part of the training also. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we have 3 more people in the queue. The next person up is phone number ending in 6969. You're up.
Hi there.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, thank you. I just had a couple questions about leads, and I just started mailing and calling, the first couple batches of leads that I've gotten. So I had a couple questions about just the way those are researched, because I don't really know what to expect, because this is, of course, a lot different being in a probate lead, or getting probate leads. But I've been getting several that are, from an apartment or from a nursing home. And some of the probate dates I've noticed that I've gotten for some of my leads I look up the house that is in probate, and it's been on the market for, anywhere from 90 to 120 days. So I don't really know if this is common or if that's, something that, is a little bit out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
so
good
it's
call.
kind of going
Good
back
question.
to the earlier conversation. Don't try to deduce too much from data. So you can try to draw patterns and look at this. It's no surprise a certain number of these people are going to list well before death because they have to be able to qualify for Medicaid or long-term care, or they just need to liquidate the house to pay for long-term care. Some people, mom and dad move in with them, they put the house on the market. So there's going to be a ton of exceptions. Our best agents are going to list less than 10% of these properties. So don't get too caught up in the 90% that you can't help that are already listed, already sold. Like, that's just a given with any lead type. And as we see a lot of people get kind of they overwhelm themselves by trying to paint too much of the picture by staring at a spreadsheet. And really the best thing to do is just send your letters, make your phone calls, and the people who need your help will respond to your offer, right? Just like any other marketing. But if you're going through, looking at each one and tracing it and trying to figure out exactly what they have, you got to look at the value of your time and how much time that takes. It usually just makes more sense to get the letters out, make the phone calls, and take the ones you get, which will probably be 2, 4, 5 out of 100, which is really good. If you look at the ROI on, a 2% conversion, most people are breaking 2,000% ROI, and they're only helping 2 out of 100 people. Now, I want to touch on the apartment, nursing home, those things. In testing Probate Plus, the program I mentioned before, where we'll be able to basically click a button and you'll get all the information for the real estate, including the MLS status. Testing that, what we find is a lot of people who have apartment numbers actually own that real estate. Like I was doing one in Los Angeles, and there were 12 of the test that I ran. There were 12 apartment addresses for the deceased last known address. All 12 were whole ownership, and the price range was $250,000 to $2.5 million. So your market might be the same, it might be different, but if someone would have assumed that because it's an apartment, last known address was an apartment, it's a useless lead, they would have stepped over several $1 million worth of listing opportunities. So again, the best thing you can do, really assuming that your time's worth $50 to $60 an hour and probably more, the best thing you can really do is just get the mail out, consider that a marketing cost, and then make your phone calls and see who's going to respond to your offer and need your help.
And it's a numbers game all the way around. I mean, Chad's making a great point. The other thing is that's the last known address. So you may find that it's an apartment and they may have been moved into an apartment to be close to their kids and still have an apartment or still have property that they own elsewhere that'll eventually come out. That last known address is simply a legal address for filing for probate. It may or not be indicative of where they lived or what they own. So like Chad said, the best way to do this is just simply move forward with it and don't kill yourself beating the data up. We've proven that this works by get the letters out, make the phone calls, and see what's out there. It's a numbers game.
And just consider the possibilities here. I mean, we talk a lot about listing houses, and I think a lot of us, I see a lot of people kind of get tunnel vision on just listing houses. Imagine somebody that already sold the house, went into long-term care, died in a nursing home, but had a long-term care and a life insurance policy with a long-term care rider, and the family just inherited $3 million. Do you think that a brother and sister that gets $1.5 million each, do you think they're probably going to buy some real estate? Could they upgrade the home they currently live in? Could they build a rental portfolio, finally buy that place in Palm Springs? So if you can find ways to provide value to these people, regardless of the situation, if they understand you're in the real estate market and you're providing value, even maybe sometimes you're not getting paid while you're providing the value, you get a ton of business from that. Like, you're the only realtor in the world when you go above and beyond and really help folks in this situation.
Right. The only other question I had was, as far as you guys, obviously you guys pull the data. I have Vulcan, so I have all of my leads put into Vulcan. But as far as pulling the data, is that real similar to what Vulcan does, or is their process completely different?
No, they're just pretty much electronic. So they're gathering off of, expired listings off of IDX, like off of an MLS pool. We're actually sending live researchers into county courthouses, and then we bring that back, and then we do the electronic augmentation where we get you valid phone numbers and everything. So ours is very human intensive, and we literally have people in your county pulling from the courthouse.
Okay. I was just curious about that, because Vulcan's data is, well, historically, since I've been using it, it's pretty good, and I haven't, as far as I'm sure your guys' data is good too. I just wasn't sure if it was any different. So,
in most cases.
I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying. Are we pushing your probate data for you into Vulcan?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that we do that, and we partner with Vulcan to do that. We've been working with them pretty much since the very beginning of this, and obviously for anybody else that's on the call, if you do have Vulcan, that's certainly, we have a direct interface to that. When your leads come in, they're automatically pushed directly into Vulcan and available to you for dialing.
Right. Yeah, it makes it real simple and easy.
All right, excellent. Any other questions?
No, I think that's it for me.
We have 4 more in the queue. I just wanted to add something real quick. I had a newer subscriber this week that said, contacted me and said, I'm seeing a lot of errors in your phone numbers. And as I explained to her, if you guys aren't aware of it, the court information comes directly from the courthouse. That is 99% accurate. We then take the executor information, run it through dozens of different databases, and we provide you multiple phone numbers. It's not unusual at all that 1 or 2 of the 4 phone numbers we give you might be another John Smith in the same town, or it might be an old phone number that belonged to that person. So it's not that they're errors. It's just that out of the 4 phone numbers we give you, a vast majority of the time, at least one of them is going to be good. But just if you get a wrong phone number, don't assume that the data is incorrect. It's the way that we get it. Phone numbers are not as much of an exact science as going down to the courthouse and getting the data. I just wanted to add that in case anybody else had the same question. All right, well, we have 5 more people in the queue. Let's get to the next person. Next up is phone number ending in 7200. You're up next.
Hi. I am new to this. I have a group of realtors that will be working together on this, and this is all new to us. So I guess I have questions on pricing and where I would find that information, and also about the sessions that you speak about. Is that something that we need to join before producing letters and all that?
Okay, the first question, every county is different because every county, our pricing is really a derivative of the man-hours required to retrieve the data at that particular courthouse combined with the leads. So every county is different. Just send an email to support@alltheleads.com and request a county or counties, and I'll get right back to you. And then I'm not sure I really understood the other question. Chad, did you understand the second half of that question?
I think she's referencing fast track training, and that's something that's available to subscribers.
Okay.
So as soon as you sign up, that's in your subscriber portal with your leads.
Okay, so the first thing would be to sign up and to choose an area or county that you would like to pursue. Then you would come back and do the sessions, I'm assuming. Is that correct so far?
Yep.
Okay.
You can watch the fast track training, and then the training will actually lead you to setting up your first mail campaign right there in our online editor, and we'll deliver the leads directly into a CRM in the same spot. So everything's in one place.
Okay.
And if you
are
need
your
any help at all setting any of that up, any of the mailings, anything to do with website or any part of this, we've got people standing by constantly ready to help, ready to talk to you. We'll help you construct the letters. We provide examples for you. We really try to take a very concierge approach to this, and we're here to help you. We're not just a lead company. We often talk about the fact that this is a system, and that's why we offer training and all the other pieces of this. So there you go.
Okay. Alrighty. So I will definitely follow up with an email. And forgive us if we have to cut out short. We're going to some continuing education credit seminar in about 20 minutes. So,
no problem. And give me a call. Send us an email, and you and I will talk shortly. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. Have a good
day.
All right.
You too. All right. Next up is phone number ending in 2552. You're up next.
Oh, okay, great. I'm glad to hear me in, because last time I was pressing *6 and I didn't. It wasn't going through for some reason on the call, and then I tried to call and I wasn't able to.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Two questions. So I got the leads. I'm starting to walk them right now. And obviously I haven't practiced this whole role play really, really good. I don't have it dialed in good. Usually with the buyers, I work a lot with the buyers, and my conversation is they sign up on a website and be like, hey, I just wanted to see if you're looking in Lowell or Drake at all. I wanted to see if you're looking in for condo or single family. That kind of opens them up, and they let the guard down. They start talking, and then I dig in. I'm looking for an appointment. So here, the ones that I've talked to, my conversation is going like, "Hey, I'm all set. I got the lawyer. I'm all set." And other than the ones that are really mad and they hang up and stuff like that, it's like so just like. Try, like, how am I going to be able to kind of switch it over? I do have one prospect that says, well, we're not ready yet. We don't know what we're going to do with the house yet. It's not there. So those ones I kind of feel like kind of the warm. So I have two of them out of, I think, 160 dial. And then I have an attorney that I'm going to meet actually right now that, is I told him, like, because he's showing up a lot on my data, so I'm going to go meet with them.
Yep.
But I just wanted to know, like, how am I going to go about it? It's like, we're all set with this, or, stuff like that. How am I going to, kind of switch it?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, congratulations, you're taking action right away. And every question you ask we've covered that on multiple role plays, but I'm sure, Chad, you can kind of give them a real quick synopsis of the best way to get the conversation started.
Yeah, so just, think of the position they're in. So they're under a ton of stress. They've probably gotten a dozen letters from investors saying we buy houses, a very one-sided offer. And by default, they're going to assume that you're just like everyone else. So your job when you first make contact is to differentiate yourself and show them that this is a different conversation. And if they think they have everything covered, they probably haven't done this before. They probably don't know the problems that they could encounter, or the delays, or the physical and emotional hurdles like getting a house cleaned out. They probably don't have a plan in place. So the best way to get them to engage is by asking good questions. And what we find in really competitive markets, what market are you in?
I'm out in Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
So major metro area, I'm going to assume it's competitive. So what we find is best is kind of distance that, like, don't jump right into real estate in the very beginning of the conversation. In most markets, this works, where you kind of call, you introduce yourself as a probate expert and a local probate expert, and you reach out early to families because you've helped so many and you realize how stressful it can be. And then ask them a question, something like, what's been the toughest thing so far? Or have you guys got a plan for everything? Or, is there anything that you What's the next thing you would like to deal with? What's the most urgent thing you need to deal with next? Just ask them an open-ended emotional question. And sometimes you have to lead them into the problems they don't know they have yet. Like, they haven't thought about, they live out of town, the house is full of 30 years of personal belongings, they don't know what it's worth, they don't know who to call, who to trust. And you can simply come in with your estate sale company, arrange a sale, get the house empty, donate what didn't sell, throw away what didn't get donated, and you get an empty house. And they didn't have to do anything. Your team did it. But they don't know that you have that ability. They don't expect a realtor to go that far, to be able to help at that level. So it's your job to really help them understand that. And what most people want to know when they first hear you on the phone is, who is this guy? How did he get my information? And why is he calling me? And what we teach in your Probate USP is to cover those points. The best way to defeat an objection is to never let it come up, right? So here's who I am. Here's how I got your information. Here's why I'm calling. And let me ask you a question. And those are the things you want to focus on. And that was really the key to getting these conversations rolling versus, stumbling through it and, letting them control the conversation. So what your question is, it's a question that I like is, we understand it's really stressful, and a lot of families, they don't even know all the challenges they're going to encounter. That's actually why we go to the courthouse and reach out so early. So what we find is once they've kind of sat down and taken a look at everything we can do, they see a lot of places where we can help. So if I could take one thing off your plate right now, what would that be? It's It's going to be hard for them not to engage with a question like that. If I could do one thing to help you for free right now, what would that be?
Okay. All right. I see. So I'm gonna dial it down more like that, and then see. Do you wanna kind of role play? Then you see how. So I see how you're gonna go about doing it.
Sure. Let's go. Ring ring.
Oh, you're calling me, or I'm answering,
yeah,
right?
What was your name?
Yeah, this is Tim. My name is Tim.
Tim. Okay,
All
ring
right.
ring.
Hello, this is Tim.
Hey, Tim. My name's Chad. I actually sent you a letter last week, and I just had a few minutes at my desk. I was following up to see if you got that and you understood why we sent it. You remember seeing that?
No, I haven't seen any letter. Who is it again?
Okay, no big deal. My name's Chad Corbett. I'm here in the Boston area where I'm a probate expert here locally, and what we've done is we built a team of people to help executors of estates, and as part of that, we actually researched at the courthouse, and we noticed you were the executor, so wanted to reach out early, just kind of let you know there's somebody here in the community that can help with really all aspects of the probate. Anywhere that you would need help, we've got a team assembled to help. So is there anything that's pressing right now? Like, what's been the toughest thing for you guys so far?
Yeah, we have a lawyer right now that's taking care of that, but thanks.
Okay, great. Now, the attorneys, they play a big part, and they're going to be really helpful for you when you go to court and kind of lead you through the legal aspects of it. And that's a big part of our team, too. Like, we consider the probate attorneys partners of ours. Like, they're one of the spokes in the wheel, and we consider ourselves the hub. So things like getting properties cleaned out and getting that, property sold or donated to the right people, if you need repairs in any real estate, if you need to speak with financial advisors, tax attorneys, CPAs, we've got a lot of people. So we try to take a look. We try to understand your situation and your goals, and then decide who we need to bring in to help you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
So do you feel like you've got, from A to Z, do you feel like you've got everything planned out and it's going to go smoothly? Or are there things you might not have thought about yet that you could benefit from sitting down with a professional and kind of looking at that and how we can help?
Yeah. I just put it in. Like, I have to talk with the attorney and then see if is there anything that's needed. We just paid them. Everything is taken care of. I have to check with them again, Chad.
Let me ask you this: most families hold 80% of the wealth in real estate. Is there any real estate in the estate that needs to be dealt with?
Yes, we don't know what we're gonna do with it yet. We have it,
Okay.
but we don't know what we're gonna do.
Well, that's where the reason I ask. That's where I see most families think they have everything covered, but get hung up later in the process. And that's one of the big reasons we reach out early. We are licensed brokers, but we can do many things. If you decide you want to rent the property, we can get it cleaned out and set up and get you the right property manager in place. If you decide you want to sell it retail, we got contractors. We can come in and completely repair it. Is the house vacant right now?
Yes, it's vacant. Awesome. Actually,
And if it
that.
burns down tomorrow, do you know if you're protected? If the asset's insured?
Well, yeah. I mean, we always had insurance. Yeah.
Okay, so the homeowner's insurance is a lot different than vacant insurance. Have you gone through the process of getting a vacant policy on the property?
No, I don't know about that. What is that?
Okay, so my point is I didn't think so because most families we talk to haven't done that. And it's just one small example of how a lot of families think they have everything covered. But I understand you've got a lot on your plate. You've got your life and someone else's. So that's the reason we're reaching out. If we can sit down and kind of understand your situation, your needs, and your goals, then we can help guide you through things like that. And I would recommend before the end of the day, get a vacant policy on the property because chances are, if it's a total loss today, the estate won't get anything. Once they find out that the house was vacant, it's a total loss. So
okay.
we can help prevent
All
a
right.
lot of problems that you might not have seen yet because this might be your first time as a personal representative. And if you end up selling the real estate, then we would love to be the professional that helps you there, and that's kind of where we get paid. But if not, and I know you said you weren't quite ready yet, there's a lot of other ways we can help. So I've got one spot on Friday at 3 o'clock that are available to meet. Would you want to try to sit down for 30 minutes then?
Yeah, sure. I can do that. I can definitely do that.
Okay.
All right, you're listed and sold already. Good job.
All right, that's good. Well, how soon could this be? I love it. I think I'm not patient enough. I didn't look at the other calls and stuff, but this is really awesome. So now I feel the conversation. Now I can kind of make it my own if I go back and listen to it. I love it. This is perfect. I think I can go a much farther.
Well, thanks for
Perfect.
stepping up.
Yeah, thank you for that. And listen to the role play calls. There's been several of the role play calls where this has been covered. If you don't, Chad, I think that'd be beneficial for everybody. Tell our subscribers and even the guests on the call where they can find the past calls and the role play calls. And each one of them is captioned, so you can go look at. We've had this conversation several times on the monthly role plays. But Chad will tell you where you can find that. Chad, the best place for them.
Yeah. So if you're a subscriber, the best place is if you go into subscriber portal. On the left, you'll see conference calls. You click there, and then click the blue button for conference call archive, and it's organized by month. And you've got a synopsis of each call. You can kind of go back in time, almost in like a calendar format. If you're not a subscriber, we do also archive them on our Facebook group, All the Leads Mastermind. And if you're not a member of the group, go to Facebook, type in All the Leads Mastermind, answer a couple questions, and we'll let you in the group. And you can find all the calls there. A quick way to bring them up is use the search bar on the left, type in Role Play or Mastermind, and it'll bring all those to the top, so they're kind of all together.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, sir. Welcome, and I'm glad we were able to help. We have 2 more people in the queue. So the next person up is phone number ending in 6097. You're up next.
Oh, hi. Yeah, that's me. I'm Caroline, Allison, Jim, and Chad, and thanks so much for hosting the call today. I appreciate it.
Certainly. Thank you for being here.
Sure, yeah. So I'm the one that had the data issues, and
okay.
Yes. And so Cindy did call me yesterday, and basically I was getting really excited about calling on out-of-state owners, only to find that when I was calling them, it was someone in another state with the same name that wasn't the person I was trying to reach. And then when I went back to actual probate record, I found that their application address was completely different, oftentimes based in Texas where I'm in Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a mismatch. And so if you can take a look at that, in particular the out of state, and compare it, and I'd be more than happy to do a Skype session just to walk you through and the researcher through, because I don't want to spend my time on the data. I want to spend my time making calls, just like everyone else.
And Cindy's already working on that for you, correct?
Yeah, so I just sent an email to look at those cases in particular, and I think, just to look at them on your own, and then we can all regroup on that.
Okay.
But my questions have to do with building my network. And so as far as getting networked with estate sales companies, because that has come up where I've got owners talking about needing to remove junk, and I just don't really know, like, how do you go vetting those people? Financial planners, I have really no one that is my go-to person. How would I vet a financial planner and know that I can recommend them, that I have confidence in them? How do I find them in the first place? And then I'd, of course, like to build an attorney network, and I'm just getting going with really all of that. And so as I'm making my calls, while I'd like to confidently say, hey, I can help you with all these other aspects too, I simply don't have the network. So where do you start?
So there's a number of resources. So for estate sale companies, there's the only directory that's still public is estatesales.org. So that's, or actually, it may be estatesales.net. Hold on one second.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, by the way, about a month ago, we had the National Association of Estate Sale Companies on our call, and that call is archived. That was a great call, if you get a chance to listen to that. But go ahead, Chet.
Can I get a copy of that?
Anyways, without delaying the call, so there's estatesales.net, estatesales.org, and estatesales.com. There are three major directories. And I think estatesales.org is separate, and the other two may have merged. And you can go through there and say find an estate sale company, and you can look by state and then down by city and find the ones in your area that are listed. Most estate sale companies are relying on these directories, or really the yellow pages, to get their business. They're not in too many places, so they're pretty easy to find. As far as vetting them, on the directories they have kind of paid listings, and then they have everyone else, kind of like most directories. So you'll have a platinum, gold, silver, and then they have reviews and different things. So you can look at their company profile on the directory and get a pretty good feel for what they're doing, and usually click out to their website and just pick one that kind of fits what you're looking for in an estate sale partner. And I would say you should probably have a couple of levels. Like, once you talk to them, you want to know, like, what's your common sale? Do you have a certain niche that you work? Because some estate sale companies are luxury estates, so they deal with $100,000 and up estates. Others will do any sale, and you kind of need both. I mean, there's situations where you need someone to do a $20,000 sale to help somebody out. So that's just things to keep in mind as you're talking to those estate sale companies. As far as financial planners, I recommend working with RIAs, or registered investment advisors, only because they're typically independent, and they have a fiduciary responsibility to always do what's in the client's best interest. And believe it or not, only about 30% of the industry has that standard. So for that reason, I direct everybody to find a registered investment advisor. And typically they're going to sit down. Well, you can just use Google and say registered investment advisor, Houston, Texas, and you're going to find a ton. You'll find there's about 380,000 of them nationwide.
Okay.
But what you're looking for is, not a Schwab office, not a Fidelity office, not Wells Fargo Wealth Management. You're looking for an independent, an independent firm that actually understands the service that we're talking about here, that will sit down with somebody that just inherited $100,000 and show them how to turn that into a long-term care plan, a college plan. Not an advisor that says, you know what, we get paid on a percentage, and unless you have $1 million, we don't want to talk to you. And there's plenty of those guys out there. But I find with RIAs and independent firms, you're much more likely to get a lot higher level of service, and they'll be willing to work with your folks regardless of the amount of money we're talking about.
Okay. And so what screening questions would you ask?
Would you like to have referrals of people who just inherited money? I mean, and are you willing to sit down with a client regardless of how much money they have and help them set up a financial plan? Do you work with or do you have in-house counsel for setting up estate plans and living trusts? What can you do for my clients?
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, it does. And then let's say let's just say those are all yes questions. So how do you know that they're really, really good?
Look them in the eye. Make your first, instead of calling, just stop by their office. So, hey, I'd like to meet the owner of the firm. Got a few questions.
And most people that are really good at their jobs and know what they're doing can furnish you with a lot of references and a lot of happy customers that will sing their praises. If they don't have that and they're not experienced, that's probably not the person you want to be dealing with.
Okay.
You're offering them a high value. You're bringing them clients that potentially have money to invest. They spend lots of money figuring that out. You're offering it to them on a silver platter.
I see. Right. Okay.
All right. Anything else? We got one other person in the queue.
But I did want to ask regarding building a network of probate attorneys. I know you've had past calls focused on that. Could you send me any past mastermind calls that have been focused on building the networks that I just mentioned about the estate sales, the registered investment advisors, and the probate attorneys?
So we talk about it often. I summarize every call, so there's bullet points for every single call we've done. I would recommend just kind of go through and click through and listen to there's dozens. So just the ones where we say how to build an attorney network, click in there and fast forward to that point.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
if you need help, send an email to support@alltheleads, and somebody will call you back and help you locate those.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
All right, thank you so much. One more person in the queue. Phone number ending in 9123. You're up next.
Thank you. Joined the program a few weeks ago. Sent my letters out, started my calls last week, and had some ups and downs. Been punched in the face a little bit, but just fumbling my way through it and figuring it out. I guess my question for you guys is, and you may or may not have a very distinct answer for this, but me and my team were working through 175 leads, I think, monthly, and I see that stacking up at some point over the next few months if we continue to order them because the point of everything is to have 3 follow-ups after every letter. So potentially I could have 600 up to 600 follow-ups or close to 600 follow-ups that in the third month. And I also know you guys aren't big on scrubbing lists. However, when time is really important to you and you would have to go through 600 leads, is there a way besides people that say follow up with me or people that you are ready to list or people that express interest that's very obvious? Is there a way to determine my time best spent on the phones, particularly with those follow-ups?
Well, I mean, we've the rating system. If you're using the CRM, you can rate them, however you see fit.
Okay.
As far as like the ones that are rated follow-up, they're all going to be follow-up. So I assume, in the notes you could cover that there. Where it's like
you're on speakerphone. Could you we can hear an echo there. Could you take them off speakerphone for a minute, please?
Yeah, I'll take you off. Sorry, I'm on a headset with the team here. I didn't know it was reverberating that much. So let me take you on mute while you answer my put it on mute while you answer my question.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
All right, go ahead, Chad. It's quiet.
Yeah, that took it out. So anyways, what I was saying, in the CRM, I'm assuming you've already seen this, you're using the rating system, so you rate them as follow-up. I guess the most efficient way to do that is, just follow up with the ones that you have marked as follow-up. And when you go into each month of leads, you just click the sorting arrow at the top of the column, and it pulls the follow-up to the top. So you're just following up with those. Where that might hurt you is the ones that you've reached out to and left voicemails and haven't spoken to. If they're not marked as follow-up, if they're still a new lead, you never know. You never know what their status is until you've spoken with them. So once we have Probate Plus, if you're just trying to get real estate listings, it's going to make everything more efficient. So you can click a button and you'll see the MLS status and whether they had real estate and everything. So you can focus in on it that way. So I would say, in the near future, my answer will be different. It's just hit Probate Plus instead of hitting the phones, and then you can really condense those 175 down, probably into 80 or 90 leads that you really want to focus on.
Sure thing, thanks. And I've actually not been using the CRM. I have my own CRM that I've been importing the leads to, so I may check that out now that you mentioned that, and just
so it's hard to make this fit into other CRMs, and if you just go to My Probate Leads and click in there and look, it's on the third tab over. We have a rating system, and you can actually opt them out of phone calls. You can opt them out of future mailings. And if you're doing mail through us, when your mail goes, you don't have to worry about ordering mail and having, where the way you're doing it, you export, you import, you rate, you take them off mailing list, and then you order mail, and then you repeat. And then at month 3, you kind of hit critical mass where you've got 3 lists and 9 letters, and you're trying to track all this, where with our CRM, you simply click the buttons, and anyone who says do not mailed no longer gets mail, and you save money that way. So if you can get in the habit of using the CRM, we kept it simple for that reason, because we saw the challenge of working in other CRMs. So we've tried to make it as simple as possible to prospect directly from our CRM.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. That's all I had.
All right. Thank you. We have one more person in the queue, and by the way, I guess Brad and Austin did not make the call. Brad, France, and Austin, if you're on, we'd love to close with you guys. Otherwise, we'll open with them next week. But actually, we have 2 more people in the queue. So I see a frequent caller. First up is phone number ending in 2972. You're up next.
Yeah, guys. Jonathan Smith here from the Northern Virginia area. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks again for this call. I've got 2 questions and then an observation. I'd love your feedback on, Chad. Question 1, do you have any document or copy that would be of value that we could use when we're working a campaign, whether that be a voicemail campaign or if we have an email address? That could be anything from a probate timeline to questions to ask a real estate agent if they've got probate experience. Anything like that you all have in addition to the letters that you send out to executors?
There is, and Tim, you might have to speak to this. We have a trifold brochure that has like the top 5 considerations, or I'm trying to place it. I didn't design it, obviously, but there are things on that trifold brochure that we have that do kind of highlight 5 things this and what to expect from working with a probate agent. So you might look at that, and we haven't gotten them into the editor yet, but you can email support and they can send you samples of everything.
Okay.
Exactly. We'll do that. And the other thing is, if you want to just simply, when you send your email into support, talk a little bit about what you're trying to accomplish, and then we'll get back with you and we'll help you construct exactly what you're looking for to reach to the specifics that you're looking for when you want to put something together. We don't just, slap it up and say, yeah, one size fits all, this will work for you, go do it. We want to learn a little bit more about what your specific, capabilities are. And back to what Carolyn said earlier, if you don't have a particular person on your team yet, then obviously you don't want to go out and talk about that. You want to talk about things you do well, and we'll work with you to put all that together. But tell us as much as you can in your email to support, and we'll get right back to you.
Okay, that's excellent. I'll do that then later today. Second question is, Chad, one of the things I faced this week is I used your pencil in technique, which has been gold, by the way, so thank you for that. And
nice.
I had two people that say, yes, I'm in, and then I confirmed the appointment the day before, and one individual I spoke with during work, and she said, can you please call me at 6 p.m., called her, didn't pick up. The other one I confirmed sent me a text message and said tomorrow's not good. I'm just curious, how do you typically handle the brush-ups like that, whether they be something where they're just trying to avoid me altogether or they generally just don't have the time? I'm curious if you've got any feedback on that.
I handle them before they brush me off. So that's actually, there's probably 10 minutes of training just in mastery. We spend 10 minutes on how to close the phone call.
Yeah.
And it's I call it insulating myself against competition I haven't met. So before I get them off the phone, so I'll reset the state 2 or 3 times during the conversation. And in the very last, it's like, oh, but real quick, I almost forgot. When you met with the probate clerk, they ask you to gather, and I'll name off all the probate documents. And well, actually, let me back up. So it's real quick. I almost forgot. Listen, a lot of people, what we found in the past is a lot of people that get really excited about us helping you through the process. They go back and they talk to their wife or their sister or their brother, and most people don't trust what they think is too good to be true. And a lot of folks, we've had the experience before where someone goes back and tells their spouse all about this great real estate agent they met, and they think it's a hoax because they never expect someone to provide that level of value. So could you do me a favor and just kind of recap our conversation with everybody, let them know that we didn't go too deep, we didn't leave anyone out, and that's really what Friday is about. It's getting us all on the same page. Okay, perfect. Thanks for doing that. And again, if we have to move the appointment, just let me know. We can punt maybe to next Friday. Hopefully we can get you in there. And one more thing. When you met with the probate clerk, she asked you to pull together Have you done that yet? Okay, perfect. The reason I ask is if you could, please bring that to the appointment. Because once we're going to snap a picture with our phone, make a PDF, and go ahead and send it to our title company. That way, when we have the home under contract, we'll use that to close the chain of title, because we're going to list in your name, and then we'll close the chain of title with those documents. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Well, hey, listen, thanks so much and so I'm doing a couple things here. One, I'm asking him to go back and sell me to the other decision makers. Please recap our conversation. Please extend the trust you've given me to them. Let them know that it's no more than just a sit down, a conversation, and they weren't left out of anything. That's probably what's happening to you. The second thing I'm doing is I'm insulating myself against any other investors or any other realtors that come in. I guarantee you they're not going to have the level of knowledge about the probate process that I do. And unless I show him that, he's not going to know what he doesn't know. So he's not going to know what to expect from another agent. So show off and show them, listen, that if another agent comes in and says, oh, well, I can do this and I can do that, and look at my iPad presentation, look at these business cards, aren't they great? Then he's going to be thinking, you know what? That John guy knew all the stuff. Like, he knew the names of the documents. He knew what floor of the courthouse I was on when I met with that lady. Like, he really understood the probate process, and this chick just talks about herself. And it's really going to set you apart. If another investor comes in and they start talking about all these problems this, problems that, then that's just going to tell him, okay, well, that John understood all those things. That's what he was talking about. So maybe I should just work with him. And the other thing that you're doing in there, I don't know if you noticed, there's a very assumptive close in there. So we're going to send that to our title company. So when we have your house under contract, that's how we're going to close the chain of title. If they don't object right there, they've already said yes to the listing. And it's a big part of what I teach in Mastery is I've never asked for a listing, ever. And I teach you how to do that, like those subtle tricks of how to just slowly lead with value through this conversation and get it's closed before you ever get the listing agreement out. You're the only listing agent in the world. So what's probably happening is they're either someone who doesn't trust you. Well, certainly someone who doesn't trust you. It's either a competitor or a family member that doesn't believe you can back up what you said, and they're talking them out of it. Or you, by leaving them out, even up to this point, as simple as the conversation has been, by leaving them out, someone felt harmed by that. They felt like they went too far without them. So just empower them to go back and recap the conversation, show off your knowledge, show them that you know what the hell you're talking about. So if someone else comes along, they're not even going to compare to your level of knowledge. And throw that assumptive close in there because you are his listing agent, aren't you?
No, I'm an ISA.
Bullshit. You are his listing agent, aren't you?
Yes.
The other thing
you
you
heard me. I said yes.
Confirm it back via email. Make sure that when you're done with that, you summarize everything you just told them. Confirm it back with an email and let them know how you set that time aside. You're looking forward to meet with them. And if you've got the phone number that you spoke with them on, don't hesitate to send them a text and remind them about the meeting. Make sure that they know that you're committed and your time is valuable, and you're just beating them to death with the service.
That's good. That's good. Do I have one more minute to share an observation, or do y'all need to go?
Sure. No.
Guys, I got to run. I've got 1 minute until Mastery starts, so I got to jump. We'll see you guys. Thanks for participating.
All right. Go ahead. Please share, John. Go ahead.
So I've met with 7 attorneys in the past 2 weeks. All great meetings. One was very informative. For the most part, most attorneys saw the value add, especially with the referrals and how we could grow their client base. I had one attorney look at me and tell me that we were a competition in all of the other things that we could do, namely estate professional service, clean out crews, etc. Because he said, this is what I do. We're an integrated approach as well. And so he liked me, but he said, listen, just from one attorney to you, I just want to let you know that although your service is valuable and I can appreciate the referrals, you're also a competitor to me because you're doing what I'm doing, and you do it cheaper. So I'm just curious, have you guys had anything like that? Have you had any attorney tell you that, or anybody who's had an experience?
Never. You found the one attorney in a million who is willing to do extras for free without billing hourly. In my opinion.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is that guy would be a great candidate for you to say, look, we don't do that to make money. We do that to make sure that we're offering service. It sounds like our interests are absolutely right in sync with each other. Let's see what we can do to work together because you're exactly the kind of attorney we'd like to work with. We're not looking to take money out of your pocket. I'd love to work with you. You sound like my partner. I mean, that'd been a great opportunity to jump right in that.
That reminds
me. He's not licensed in Virginia. We would have, I think, done really, really well, but he can't practice law here.
Yeah, that reminds me of my wife, and my wife has a short sale company. She's done over 2,000 short sales, and she always tells the agent, just introduce me as a member of your team. I'll make it look good. Same thing. You can tell that attorney, in the future, you don't have to do all that. Just introduce me as a member of your team, and you can take credit for it, and I'll do all the work. That'd be hard to say no to.
And you're willing to work with his team. He's already vetted them, and he already has them as a client in many cases. So, it's just perfect. Most people like that never find a realtor who understands the value of all the things that you just said and all the, the clean out side, the investment side, the help side. And if you're already doing all that, I mean, that's a marriage made in heaven right there.
Well, it was interesting, too, because he looked at me and he said, I've had so many people call me and tell me that they're a probate specialist, and 3 of the deals that they've done have all gone sideways. He said, if I would not have met you individually, if you would have called me, he said, I would have yelled at you. But since you showed up, I'm willing to give you some time here. So those two insights were extremely helpful to learn. Hopefully that helps and adds some value here to some of the people that are listening that are trying to do likewise. But I appreciate you guys and all the help and training you provide.
Thank you so much. And for those of you that are considering attorney campaigns. We keep hearing that over and over and over again. I don't know that we've met anybody that's been successful with attorneys on the phone. Show up at their office in person. It makes all the difference. You know, obviously you can't do that with the executors, but for attorneys, that's a great approach to take. And guys, this is our longest call ever. We have one more person in the queue, and she is our most. She has a full-time job. She's our most successful part-time probate specialist we've ever had. So, and she always has something good to say. So I'm going to take another 5 minutes. And Belinda, you're up next. Fire away.
Hey, it's only going to take 1 minute. You all mentioned the CRM, and I didn't know we actually had a CRM in the system. I'm wondering, is there an auto dialer to go with that as well, or not?
Tim, the CRM is.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tim.
No,
Okay,
the CRM is relatively. It's relatively new, Belinda.
Oh, okay.
The CRM
okay.
is new. Now I'll shut up, and Tim, you talk about the auto dialer.
Yeah. No, it is strictly. We don't look to go out and compete with all the other products that are out there. So, you know, if you've got an auto dialer that works, that's fine. You can also export right out of the CRM in terms of pushing the data into an auto dialer and all that sort of stuff. But it is specific to the process that we described. Send out the letters, follow up with phone calls, and just use it to track them. And if you log in, click on My Probate Leads, you'll be able to see all of it in there. And Belinda, have you had a chance to talk yet with Tom? Have you?
Not about that specifically, but I mean, I go in and get my leads there. What I usually do is just take and export them out into, I think, a CVS file, and then put them in my Mojo dialer. That's the way I had been doing them, but that's why I had asked, because I'm like, well, I'm doing extra steps. I may, if they have a dialer, I don't have to even export them out and put them into a dialer. I can just dial. And then I was doing pretty much like what you all described. You know, once you go through call through the list, figure out who really, really, really doesn't want your services, take them off the list, and then backtrack from Mojo dialer, take them off that list, and go back to the list I downloaded that I'm going to put back in the system for my mailer. You know, taking them off that list. It's a lot of steps. So I was looking to kind of, you know, condense that a bit.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
that's it.
And I guess my answer is more a yet question, because one of the things that we're doing is looking at maybe in the last quarter of the year, doing a bunch of stuff to really enhance the capability of our CRM, but we're not looking to try to supplant other systems. We're just trying to focus very specifically on adding value in this particular niche, and anything that we do is really going to be focused specifically on probate. But you keep on rocking.
Okay.
And
all right. Great. Thanks a lot.
I have never left anyone in the queue. Please don't anybody else enter the queue. We do have one last person for the week. If you could make it like 2 or 3 minutes, let's wrap it up. Phone number ending in 2588. You're last for today. Fire away.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Real quick, all I want to know is I already had signed up and went through the mastery class, and so I just heard one of them starting today, and I was on my dashboard trying to figure out how to get into that and listen again, and I don't see how to do that.
Yeah, you're going to have to. Tim should.
The mastery class is a you have to sign up for that. It's not that's not the built-in training that's part of the free system. The mastery class is a 3-day class leading to the certified probate expert designation that Chad teaches, and the first one's already been for this month, and there'll be 2 more. If you want to sign up, I'm sure you can get into the next one, or you may want to talk with Chad about it, but you will have already missed the first one, unfortunately, for this month, so you may have to wait till next month. It might be easier for you to do that, so you participate in all 3 of them.
Well, I've already participated in it.
He's an alumni, Tim. He just wanted to retake it.
Sorry.
Yeah. Send an email to Chad at All the Leads, and even though he's on the call, he's pretty good at multitasking. And worst case, he can, because he's already started it, worst case, he'll send you a recording of today's, and he'll give you access to the one for tomorrow. But he's the one that kind of has the keys to that program. He runs it. Just send an email to Chad at All the Leads and say, I've taken the course any way I can jump into today and tomorrow. And if he's able, he'll get you in there. If not, he'll send you a recording and he'll get you into the one tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Hey, guys, great call. Certainly our longest. And I'll be just really briefly, I always like to wind these up by thanking everyone for taking over an hour out of your day to be with us. A lot of great ideas, thoughts, stories today. Take one idea, one thing you heard on today's call, and there were a lot of them, and put it into practice, and please come back next Thursday and share it with the group. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great week. We will talk to you same time next Thursday. Take care.